Alright, Shalom, Shalom. This is your brother Issachar coming back at you with another lesson. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makwa Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the 144,000 scattered across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. Alright, in today's lesson, we're going to go into get ready to get uncomfortable. Alright, so you have to constantly, be plugged in. You have to be in the spirit, because you can be very easily distracted out here by, just what, affairs of this world, things, work, bills, whatever, There's a lot of things out here that can occupy your mind, that will, distract you from, what's really about to happen out here. All right, yes, you still gotta still live your life, take care of, your family, take care of your priorities. You know what I'm saying? Make sure your bills are paid, of course, but you have to always keep yourself. And check, you always gotta examine yourself, because you can't get too carried away out here or too busy where you forget what time we're in. Okay, because we're entering a time where Russia and the U.S., they're getting amped up. So Russia or China can hit America with an EMP, a pocket nuke. Anything can happen at any time right now. Because the U.S. is telling Ukraine to, take the fight to Russia, So pretty much, it's already on between, it's already going to, go down, so to speak, with Russia and the U.S. because that's straight war, Because, Ukraine is getting, billions of dollars. I think it was I believe it was 58 billion and aid for the military, right? Somewhere around there. So just to show you, and why is for those of you that don't really know, why is it so important? You might think damn, why is NATO and America, why are they backing up Ukraine so much? Why are they constantly backing them up? Because they have the element out there, the resource that is for the RFID chip. And that's major for the New World Order. Because remember, so Taiwan and Ukraine are big. Okay, why is there so much tension between Ukraine and Taiwan? Okay, what a lot of people don't know is those places have Taiwan, they have the element out there for the chip. Okay, that actually goes in the chip. All right, they have a resource out there, and so does Ukraine. So Ukraine and Taiwan are two major sources for the RFID chip, which is the MARK for the New World Order. So that's why you keep seeing that in the news, Taiwan and Ukraine, But the reason why, you want to wonder why the West is protecting Taiwan and Ukraine, all right, is because they have the resource, which is to make, Afghanistan. The reason why America went over there was for the lithium. Okay, lithium is an element, a resource that people have in their batteries today. It's called lithium. All right, it's like that. You know what I'm saying? So Taiwan and Ukraine have the resource for the RFID chip, which is major for the New World Order. So that's why they're not gonna like just let them go and say, all right, whatever. We'll let China attack Taiwan, or we're gonna let Russia destroy Ukraine. It's not gonna happen because they need those two spots for the RFID chip. Okay, they need those two spots for the RFID microchip. It's very, very heavy, very, very heavy. So that's something that you have to realize. All right, that that chip is very, very important. Okay, it's very, very important to the New World Order. See, so that's something that you guys need to out there, pay attention to. Yeah, it's all about that chip. All right, Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord Yahweh Shemel rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst thereof. So what's this talking about? Okay. All right, so right here from the top, the burden of Egypt, the burden, okay? Because America is about to, suffer a lot of stuff. Okay, people who live here, all right, people who are just visiting, get ready to get very uncomfortable because they're about to put this whole place on lockdown. Okay, they're about to put this whole place on lockdown. It's something that you got to understand. All right, this whole place is gonna go under lockdown. Okay, it's something that you have to, something that you have to be aware of. This whole, this whole place is going under. This whole place is gonna go under lockdown. You see? All right, so it's very important that you gotta pay attention to what's happening out here. So bear with me. The burden of Egypt. So Egypt is talking about America. Okay, Egypt is talking about America. So the burden. So it doesn't say a great time. It doesn't say this is a nice time to party and this is a good time to raise a family and all that, and this is a time of the American dream. No, the burden. Alright, because what's the burden? Because it's like very heavy. It's like a drag because right now you have Americans who are fighting against Americans. You got people who don't like Trump. Remember, it was Edomites, the so-called white man, that tried to assassinate Trump. Remember that. Who's that? That's Whitey versus Whitey. Okay? That's Whitey versus Whitey. Yeah. To show you that not even the Edomites are happy here in their own kingdom. See that? They're trying to take out their own leader because there's great division here. Why? Because people don't agree on one term. People don't see eye to eye. So yeah, Egypt is it means bondage, captivity, because America has all 12 tribes in slavery at the same time. This is why America is gonna suffer so bad, real bad. Very, very bad. It's gonna be one of the worst spots to be on the planet Earth in the time of judgment. You know how bad it is out there in like Hamas and Afghanistan. All right, how about like Gaza? How all those buildings are getting destroyed and all that. Okay, America is gonna be far worse. America is gonna be the worst place to be on the planet Earth in the time of judgment. Yeah, it's really gonna go down out here. Civil war, race wars, people starve to death, people going inside guillotines. Yeah, it's a very real deal. That's why you have those preppers out here. American patriots, American Bible Belts, because they even know like, hey, something's coming. Because they know. Why? Because they read, they pay attention. They're not like the masses. The masses, yeah, they may hear about it, but they don't really digest it. See, these preppers out here, they don't really know the full when it comes down to the scriptures in the Bible. That's why the Lord has the prophets to tell you why, like the full. what's coming and why it's coming, and who's bringing it, and why they're doing it. So answer all those questions, because a lot of people want to know, like, well, why is this happening? Well, the Lord had great mercy on the elect. To, that's why the prophets are here to give you that answer. Well, why, and all that. See? And whether you like it or not, whether you digest it or not, it's completely up to you. Behold, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yamashai rideth upon a swift cloud. Yahweh Shai, who the world stubbornly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, he's coming in on a spaceship. Yeah. It doesn't mean that he's gonna ride on a cloud like Goku, in Dragon Ball. Remember when Goku was riding on that cloud? All right. No, it literally is talking about a spaceship, a so-called UFO, the chariots of Israel, and shall come into Egypt, into America, because the Lord's gonna show up over there in the Middle East first, and then he's gonna make his way over here to the West. Yep. And the isles of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, right? Because right now these top leaders around the world, okay, start NASA. These top military people in America, like the top officials, top people in CIA, okay, all that, they know. All right, it's just, your average, like average Joe out here, they may hear about it, but, they don't really know in full detail, like what's going on, but it's the higher ups that are really, they're frantic because they see the ships in detail and they know that there's no way that they can fight against those things, They're gonna try, but they're like, because they know, because they see it in detail, because they have telescopes and satellites, out there in the atmosphere. Remember, they can't pass the Van Halen belts, but they can go far up there, so they see the ships in detail, because they have, the elites, in this world, they have the highest technology, so they can see the ships in detail, and they're freaking out. They're freaking out, man. Don't think for 1 second that these dudes that are enemies are not scared, Yeah, of course they're mad and they're gonna put up a fight, but they're worried. Sure, they're losing sleep, Wouldn't you lose sleep if you found out that you were about to be killed and then go into slavery? Imagine, huh? You don't think they're tripping right now? It's like Russia, like right now, like let's say if Russia threatened America with an ICBM, everyone would be frantic. Remember when a long time ago there was that false warning that, remember, there was gonna be some nukes that was gonna hit Hawaii, and everybody was tripping. Remember, they're throwing their babies in sewers and all that. Remember that? 'Cause that's real. Okay, and that's an ICBM. So how much more the Lord with the angels, huh? And gonna put our enemies in slavery, coming with spaceships, and with the 144,000 with spiritual power. You don't think our enemies are tripping? They're tripping, Yeah, they're, once again, you have some that are mad and they're going to fight back, of course, but best believe they're losing sleep, I mean, wouldn't you, and shall come and be moved at his presence, because they're already moved. They're already moved. Imagine when he actually gets here, because right now they're hearing the words of the prophets, the real people who are really, up there. All right, remember, like your average Joe, your average A citizen, they're gonna be like whatever about it, because they don't give a damn. This is not their kingdom. They don't give a shit. It's the people who are actually running it, the ones that are actually watching, because they know it's only a matter of time. And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it, because the pride of America, there's still people, going out and stuff, like to malls and stuff, still like, hitting the clubs and, still doing their thing, but it's not the same like it used to, It wasn't like, like they used to say the good old days, where it was like everyone's having a great time. Right now, you even have families fighting against one another. Co-workers want to tear each other apart. We're in a time right now of war. We're in a time of hate. It's just the time that we're in, People really get crazy, like if they say, all right, who do you like, Trump or Biden? They really take that to heart. Like, oh, forget that guy. Oh, he's a Democrat. Oh, fuck him. Oh, he's a Republican, but they're Americans, But they really take that to heart. And that's real, See that? So you have a lot of division here. It's not just everyone just get along and yeah, everyone just living the good old American dream. No, all right. We're in a time of hate. We're in a time of war. You gotta understand that. Isaiah chapter 19 verse 2, and very very important. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. So the Lord is gonna set the Americans versus the Americans. So the reason why it's like that, it's not just because, oh, it's just a time. It's because the Lord's doing it. Remember that, okay? You gotta glorify the Lord. But remember who's bringing it. Okay, who's doing all this? Yeah, the elites, the left hand side, starting with the Rothschilds, Rockefellers on down. Yeah, they're running stuff on, like, they're like the managers here. But who controls them? Okay, Yahweh Shai. See? All right, so there's the front man. You know that they're like the managers here, but who's the owner? Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. See, and they shall fight. Pay attention, everyone against his brother, because there's gonna be a lot of betrayals. Because you're gonna have a lot of people, a lot of change of hearts, a lot of people who are just gonna hate one another. And they shall fight everyone against his brother. Right, everyone against his brother. So sister against sister, sister against cousin. That's what you're having right now. A lot of families are fighting. I remember even right now. I hear a lot that a lot of families get together, have barbecues and stuff like that. Now a lot of family members they fight with one another. Because they're like, oh yeah, I'm not going because my cousin's gonna be there. Fuck that guy or fuck her. Excuse my Italian. Like, well, I'm not gonna go because I don't like her. Or I don't like him. So there's a lot of, you have even fighting within family members, mom and daughter is not even talking because, you just have a lot of that going on right now, because, oh, they don't like, the mother might not like their daughter's new boyfriend or something like that. So they're not even talking. And it's like that right now. There's a lot of division, there's a lot of hatred, it's because we're in a time of war. All right. It's because, we're close to the Lord's arrival. So that lets you know right there that we're in that time. We're real close to the time of the Lord's arrival. All right, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor. See, against his neighbor. See, why are neighbors gonna fight one another? Because remember, we're real close to these cities going under martial law. Okay, militarized zones. Nobody in, nobody out. All right, so and remember, these elites are going to starve out the people. These Starbucks, these grocery stores, Ralph's, Bonds, Trader Joe's, Sprouts, Whole Foods, Vallarta, Super A, okay, Superior, they're about to be emptied. All right, they're about to be emptied. So neighbor are going to fight against neighbor. Why? Because once these UN troops, once these officials for the New World Order, they put these cities under martial law, you're only going to be able to go so far. So neighbors are going to fight against another. Why? For food. It's just like because people are going to survive and they're not going to be able to go to another city. Like you guys ever seen that movie? Remember Civil War? All right, that was in theater not too long ago. I remember they were traveling from city to city. You're not going to be able to do that. All right. Only some people who have like high military clearance, people that can fight, like, get across those borders. Militias can do that, and then the elect, because the angels are going to be with the elect, and they'll be able to move around and stuff. Yeah. But everybody else, they're going to be under martial law. You're not going to, unless you don't have high military clearance, you're not going to be able to pass that barrier. All right. You're not going to be able to pass that location. And everyone against his neighbor. See? Because right there, you're not going to be able to go to other cities. So once people run out of food and water, what are they going to do? They're going to look at their neighbors. See? So neighbors are going to become worse enemies in that day. Right, because remember, they're not going to be able to travel to the next county, to the next city, because these cities are going to be under martial law with tanks killer drones out there. See, so wherever people are at, that's where they're gonna have to survive and fight. Yeah, it's a very real deal. Very real, very real. All right, and especially your neighbors that know what you got, you know, because a lot of times neighbors like they'll have barbecues and stuff like that. You know, they'll have birthday parties for their kids. A lot of neighbors, uh, you know, they know what you have because you invite them in and say, "Hey, look, check it out." You know, and a lot of neighbors out there, you guys talk. You know, you guys even say, "Oh yeah, I'm a prepper. I got this. I got my guns, and I got I got food and all that." So in that day, Jennifer's gonna remember, "Hey, Timothy said he has food and this and that." This and that. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, see. So and that day, when they can't go to no grocery stores, when their belly's empty, when their refrigerator's empty, when their wife's belly's empty, when their kids' belly's empty, their children, what are they gonna do? Say, okay, well, what else is open? There's nothing open. Then they're gonna remember their neighbor Timothy, like, oh yeah, Timothy has food. That's all, because that's all people are gonna do. They're gonna go with, okay, well, what do we got? Okay, who do we know? And that's where people are gonna go, because all you can do is just go through your options. What are their options? Okay, the government's not bringing food. Okay, we're running out of food. We're starving. All right, we can't go nowhere. The grocery stores already been blown up, ransacked. Okay, we can't go there. So the families are gonna talk like, okay, well, what can we do? So and people are gonna talk. Well, I remember this house, they had food. This dude was a prepper. Oh, that woman over there, she lives over there by herself. Let's go take it over. We can overthrow that. See that? So a lot of people too, and that's why women are gonna be a prime target, because there's a lot of women out there that are single, that are in these houses and apartments by themselves. And you don't think people know that? Your neighbors, you see? People may not ask you and be like following you, but it's not that hard when people know, like, oh, this person lives by themselves, they just live by themselves with a couple cats. People know things, like they don't have to be all nosy rosy, but people know stuff. So a lot of single women out there, because that Beyonce spirit, all the single women, I don't need a man and all that. That's fine and all, but in the time of war, you're gonna be by yourself. Yeah. So it's gonna be very it's gonna be very painful to your women out there that live by yourself, because civil war, anarchy, all out war is gonna happen out here in these streets very soon. But to the masses, they don't believe it, because when you look around right now in society, you think like, oh, ain't nothing gonna happen. Like, yeah, right, you see society here, the military, like, oh, yeah, right, they won't let that happen. See? So that's what people think, just because it seems okay right now. But the Lord has everybody in the trick bag. Those that are in the know, that's why they're preparing. We're preparing. All right? But, those who are not paying attention, can you imagine? All right, so everyone against his neighbor, city against city, because civil war. Why? Because people are going to be fighting for survival, medical supplies. How many of you guys out there have family members that have to go to dialysis, or that need medical attention, or pills, medication, medical service, that needs to be on oxygen, all that. So imagine when there's no power. See? How are you gonna get your grandma, your auntie, that medical aid? Because these hospitals and ambulance are not gonna be open. The police officers and firefighters, they're not gonna be around. All right, this place is gonna be a complete war zone. You see? So you have to really take that to consideration. Yeah, because it's not gonna be like, okay, well, I'll just call 911. They'll come in. No. Okay, the military is gonna be fighting, because even the American military is going to be having one hell of a time out here. Why? Because Russia and China are here. Okay, Iran, they have millions of sleeper cells here in America. Like that movie Troy with the black horse. They're already here inside the walls. And there's a lot of them out here. A lot. All right, this is something that, and there's UN troops out here, super soldiers. Okay, androids, robots. Yeah. Like that movie RoboCop, that's real stuff, They really have that out here. So in that time, that's when the left hand side is gonna activate. They have all that technology, plus all these militias out here, these UN troops, Russians, Chinese. It's really gonna go down out here. So the American military is gonna have they're not gonna have time just to like, oh, let's go protect that American citizen. Maybe if you're lucky, there may be a cool soldier that may help you, and that's maybe. But America is gonna be so busy fighting because Russia and China, remember, they're real heavy here. But not only that, they're also gonna invade this place as well. See? So this place is ripe for the taking. So America military, they're gonna be busy as hell. They're gonna be having one hell of a time. Because remember, the leaders of America are down with the New World Order. They're Satanists. Alright? It may be a hard pill for you to swallow, but it's true. That's why a lot of people are like, hey man, I voted for Trump, but I regret it now. See, because you see what's going on. A lot of Marines are what do you call it? They're like how when you just kind of get out of there. I forgot what it's called, But a lot of people, Marines, they want to kind of get out because like, hey, what Trump is doing is unconstitutional. And the more longer we go down the line, a lot of people are gonna see that, yeah, because these leaders, they're for the New World Order. They're not for the American people. All right, and there's a reason why, because you have a lot of American military and veterans that are like, well, I want to know why this is happening. See, because remember, these leaders, they're for the New World Order, and the elites, they sold America out. Okay, the Biden administration and Kamala Harris, you know how many sleeper cells they allowed in through the border? They allowed that to happen. And they paid for them. Give them cell phones, hotels, and all that. Yeah. Giving them nice checks. See? But all this is happening. Where people don't even know about it. But the prophets know. See, that's why the top leaders, all right, the crooked ones, all right, they hate the prophets because the prophets are bringing it all out, telling you what it is. That's why people are like, well, why is this happening? This is why. All right, because they are corrupt. I know they put on a good show and they have a suit and tie and act like they give a good speech and all that. Remember, they're Satanists and they sold out America and they're all in for the New World Order. Kamala Harris, Bush, Biden, Trump. They're all for the New World Order. And if you say, oh, that's not true, it's entirely on you. But remember, you've been told. So, we don't want to hear in that day, oh, hey, I should have listened. Hey, the Lord's telling you, whether you believe it or hate us, it's not going to change the fact that they're full-blown Satanists, and that this place is about to be taken over by UN troops and robots, killer drones. You see? Yeah. So it don't matter. Like, let's say right now they were to take out all the prophets. Ain't gonna change a damn thing because all the UN troops with sleeper cells, they're already here, baby. So it ain't gonna change a damn thing because the stage is already set. And plus, not only that, but the word of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim El Shai, is gonna make true because the Lord's gonna make it happen. All right, the Lord's gonna make it happen. Oh yeah. City against city. Okay, so civil war. Not only that, kingdom against kingdom, which is World War III. Okay? World War III. So you're also going to have a draft because not only is America going to be fighting off sleeper cells and UN troops and all that. All right? Probably even themselves, because you have Americans that are they don't see eye to eye. So yeah, you're even gonna have American military fighting one against another. Yeah, so that just shows you how much this place is prepared to be destroyed. Because not only are you gonna have America fighting, foreign troops. This is why America is known in the Bible as the virgin daughter of Babylon. All right, because they've never been invaded with a foreign troop. But not only that, but they're also going to have to fight themselves. Because you got a lot of Americans right now that want to take down Trump. that want to, take down the government because they don't agree. Yeah. So you have a lot of in-house fighting as well. So can you see where this is heading? This is heading to a place of total destruction because America is not united. Yes, American military is damn strong. Shit, don't play games. Their military is very strong. But they're divided. There's a lot of in-house fighting. There's a lot of shady shit going on. And those of you that are in the know, you know exactly what it is. You see? So that's World War III. Isaiah chapter 19 verse 3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. Yeah, the pride, because this place is being brought down. People are knowing like, yeah, man, like you can't even afford stuff here. A lot of people can't even afford like apartments. You have nurses out here that are living in their cars. You have a lot of people that are just saying, fuck it, let's just live in our cars, because to buy a house in California is crazy. To buy a property, the average cost for a house out here is like 700,000. How can people afford that? 700,000, 800,000. Imagine that. That's like on average out here. Come on, how are you gonna pay for something like that? And so a lot of people can't make that, or a lot of people, if they do have a house, they have no money for groceries because they have to pay all that money. Imagine that they have to go to work every day just to pay for that mortgage, but they can't do anything. They can barely put food on the table. You tell me that's living? So that's why even the people are like, fuck, because they're not happy, because like, man, we can't even go out because we have to pay for that house. That's why a lot of people are saying, fuck it, let's just live in our cars. Let's just buy an RV. So you imagine, So that just shows you right there, because this place is just, it's about to be destroyed because it's too expensive now. The tax is crazy. People are getting tax on top of tax. You see, so even the people that live here, even the American citizens, like, yeah, this shit's not right. See? Because the spirit of Egypt, of America, is failing. Alright? Because the Lord's bringing this place down. Because it's not all just, American dream and everything's all peaches and cream. Nah. Okay? Because the Lord is preparing this place to get very uncomfortable. Extremely uncomfortable. And I will destroy the counsel thereof. The Lord is going to destroy these leaders. Okay, and he's already doing it by the prophets, because the prophets are the mouthpiece of Yahweh Bashim El Shai and are destroying all these lies. What's going on? See, so the prophets are gonna give it to you straight. It's just it is what it is. The prophets are gonna tell you the facts. And the prophets don't sell out like Will Smith and P. Diddy and all that. Yeah, the prophets might not be perfect. They may be a little rough around the edges. You may not agree with their lifestyle, but the word that they're bringing out, what they're teaching, is on point. See? That's, the Lord never said, oh, hey, you're going to like my prophets and all. No, but that word that, because the prophet's job is to bring out the word of the Lord. That's it. Not just to be like, oh, hey, they're a little rough around the edges and, we don't really like their lifestyle. Okay, the Lord don't give a damn about that. Okay, the Lord has, the prophets have a job to do, to teach you the truth and to give, to give you the warning. Okay, but especially to the elect, because we don't care about our enemies. All right, but it's because this word is for the sheep, and then at the same time, yeah, we're rebuking the heathen. And we're rebuking the wicked, telling them what it is, telling them that they're going to slavery and that they have to pay for everything that they're doing at the same time. You see? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they shall seek to the idols. So now that these leaders are being exposed, they're going to their top witches and warlocks for help, saying, help, help us destroy, help us, because we're being exposed. So they shall seek to their idols. Okay, so the leaders of America, the leaders of this world, okay, look at it. They're not going to the Lord. This is who they're going to. Check it out. This is how you know. Because you might say, well, how do you know? Right here. They shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards, because the leaders of America, the top leaders are witches and warlocks. They're wizards. All right. The what do you think Freemasonry is? It's witches. Okay. A wizard. Yeah. You see? So they go to their witches for help, for advice. See, they're not going to the Lord and repenting and saying, "Oh Lord, help me." No, they may say that, you know, on the back of the dollar bill where it says, "And God we trust." That's talking about Satan. All right. That word God simply means power. See? All right. Yeah, and the Lord ain't dealing with no Edomites. On all the American dollar bill, all of them, they're all Edomites, so-called white men. The Lord hates the Edomites. Okay, the Lord's about to put them in slavery, and then he's going to exterminate them. So why would the Lord be dealing with George Washington? Man, get out of here. You know? Facts. You know, these Edomites, they're homosexuals. And that's facts. You know? You think the Lord's going to be dealing with a homosexual? Don't even start. So right here, let's go to verse 4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. Talking about, so the Egyptians, the Americans, will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, Donald Trump. Okay, because he don't give a damn. Okay, he's destroying the dollar bill. All right, he's making pacts with these foreign people and stuff. Oh yeah, hey, yesterday I saw something that Donald Trump was saying. Oh yeah, that he's real good friends with the president of North Korea. That dude wants to completely destroy America, and he's over here saying, you know, that he's good friends, that he knows him better than anybody except his sister. You see how these devils talk? You know, shit. North Korea is ready to fully annihilate America, and he's over here like, oh yeah, I'm cool with him. See? Do you Americans still trust Donald Trump at this time? You gotta ask yourself, whose side is he on? See? Sure, you know, if I was really, you know, a leader of this place, you know, I wouldn't be talking to Putin or that dude from North Korea. I'm just saying, you know. But that just shows you right there. Like, you know, this dude's like, oh yeah, I talked to him, I know him. What are you talking about, man? North Korea, they're constantly threatening America to annihilate this place. And he's over here like, oh yeah, we're cool. All right, yeah. See? You know, that people still got to scratch their heads and be like, well, who's Donald Trump with? Well, I mean, you tell us. You know what I'm saying? You see? Yeah. You know? Shoot. Because I'll tell you right now, you know, if I was leader, I wouldn't, you know, talk to him, you know? That dude, all he does is threaten America. You know? Just saying. You know, just pointing stuff out, you know, but at the end of the day, we can care less, you know? If Donald Trump wants to talk to him, go for it. You know, because we want to see Babylon, America destroyed. So, you know, we can care less. Fuck it, you know? You don't give a damn. We're going to watch, you know? But that's just to kind of, like, open your eyes out there for those of you that are just coming into this thing, you know? If that's not an eye-opener, like, hey, well, shit, whose side is Donald Trump, you know? Is he really for America? Or what do you mean he's over there, he's being cool with North Korea? North Korea is over here threatening America all the time, you know? And he's over here like, oh, yeah, I know him better than anybody except his sister. Yeah. You know? See? You know? You wonder whose side is this dude on, you know? He's over here, you know? You know, and look what's happening with Trump. You know, Trump and Putin. See? You know, it's nonstop, you know, what's going on. You know, these talks and all that, they do no good. Although Trump, you know, gets on there and says, oh yeah, I know him better than anybody except his sister and all that. Remember, don't be fooled. Okay, Russia, North Korea, and Iran, and China will fire ICBMs over here in America. I don't care what they say on TV, you know, on these alternate news medias, you know, like, oh, it's cool. It ain't cool. All right, and you'll see real soon once those ICBMs are launched over here in America. Okay, that's just to point stuff out. Isaiah chapter 19 verse 4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. So the Lord is, handing over the America to Trump, because Trump is gonna lay it down out here. He's the perfect man for the job, because he'll say anything, you know. He'll say anything. He don't give a damn. You know, because you know he goes in. You know, and look at everything that he's doing already. You know, see. So, because you know the Lord is using Donald Trump to bring the ruckus. You know, DJ Trump. You know, stirring it up. Yeah, that man was created to do that. You know, there's a reason why you may think like, damn, you know, like this dude don't give a shit. Hey, he was created by the Lord to not give a shit. Remember, the Lord created everybody out here. He controls the left hand side too. Remember that. So that's the Lord working through the left hand side. See that? So when you see things like that, like, damn, how can it be like that? Remember, it's coming from the Lord. Okay, the Lord's not on his side, but he's using him, you know, to bring down the downfall of America, to get this party going. All right, martial law, economic collapse. Yeah, because stuff has to happen. Nothing can just be all peaches and cream and everybody just drinking coffee and lattes. And no, shit has to happen. People have to be betrayed. People have to die in order for wars and stuff to happen. People have to be offended. It's just the way it is. It's like a fight. A fight can't happen unless someone says, hey, F you. No, F you. Oh, what? Hey, see? Shit has to happen. There has to be words in exchange. People have to get slapped behind their head. People have to be disrespected. So that's why the Lord put Trump in there. You know? Because he's going to be the perfect man. Because he'll say whatever the hell. You know? That's why these other nations are like, oh, hell no, you know? Because Trump, you know? Trump's just saying whatever. Remember, he was talking about Iran. He's like, oh, yeah, we'll bomb the shit out of them. I don't care. See? He's the perfect man for the job. You know? Yeah. And a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord. Yahweh Shemel Shai. There it is. All right, a fierce king, because, yeah, he's, you know, what he's doing is fierce, you know? You know, he's not holding back. So with that, that's it on today's lesson on, remember, get ready to get very uncomfortable out here. But, you know, just stay plugged in, stay tuned in to the times that we're living in. All right, so yeah, of course, you know, take care of your business, you know what I mean? Take care of your family, you know, yourself. But at the end of the day, remember that we are in a time of war, and that at any time something can happen. All right, so with that, on your feet, soldier, stay in the spirit. Shalom.